Yesterday we talked about how important God's righteous judgment was. Today we're going to talk Jews in the law by going to Romans chapter 2, verse 17 through 29. Now, if you yourself, a Jew, can rely on the law and boast in God, if you knew his will and proved that superior because you are instructed by the law, if you have conceived that you are guided for the blinding light to those who are in the dark, for the instructor is a foolish teacher of little children. If you have in because you have in the law and environment knowledge and proof, you then who teach others, not teach yourself. You who preach against stealing, do you steal? What did you say to people who should not commit adultery? Do you commit adultery? Who adorn idols? Do you rob temples? Do you boast in the law? And you dishonor God by breaking the law. As written, God's name is blasphemed among the Gentiles because of you. Circumcision it has, if you observe the law, but if you break the law, you become as though you have not been circumcised. So, if those are not circumcised keep the law, the requirements, will they be regarded though they are circumcised? The one who is not circumcised physically yet obeys the law will not condemn you, but who, even though you have written the code of circumcision and are lawbreakers. A person is not Jew who one outwardly nor circumcision merely outward is physical, but a person is a Jew whose inward circumcision and circumcision of the heart by the Spirit and not written by code. A person prays not from other people, but from God. So in this way, when you're talking the law, when Paul is talking the law, he's talking the law of our hearts, not the law of stone. He's talking the law of our hearts. Which law do we keep? Do we keep the stone law or do we keep the law of our hearts? And that's what he's talking about today in this scripture is he's talking about the law of our hearts. Our heart has the law written in it for Jesus Christ. And because of Jesus' sacrifice and his rising again, that Jesus written the law in our hearts. And we no longer have the law of stone, but we have the law of our hearts. So we need to live by the law of our hearts and obey the law of our hearts, because that is why our faith in Jesus is important. Because when Jesus wrote the law in our hearts, we are changed people. So to understand this, the law of stone was just a stone. But when God wrote the law in our hearts, when Jesus gave his ultimate sacrifice, that's where the law is now. It's in our hearts. It's not outward. It's in our hearts now. So the decision you need to make is, are you counting on the stone tablets of the law or the law of your heart that tells you that God is guiding you through your heart? My encouragement to you, read Romans chapter 2, verse 17 through 29 to understand this scripture and use it in good contents. Tomorrow, we're going to get into God's faithfulness by opening chapter 3, and that's what we'll do tomorrow. For this is Brian Miser signing out for the Brian Miser Podcast, and this has been the Brian Miser Podcast presented by Allo Fiverr.